Good evening, everyone. I'm Tim Dale, the Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Mount Pleasant. I'll be conducting the meeting this evening in the absence of our mayor. On behalf of the council and myself, I'd like to welcome everyone tonight. We really appreciate you being here. At this time, I'll ask Councilman Walker to lead us in a word of prayer. If you'd please stand, followed by Councilmember Chappelle will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, we'll get right into our agenda this evening. The first item will be consider the approval of the minutes of the September 7th, 2021 regular session meeting and the September 14th, 2021 special session. If the council has had a chance to look it over, any questions or comments on it, or I'll entertain a motion.
After looking at the minutes, I'll make a motion. We approve the minutes as printed.
I'll second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Adams, second by Councilmember Chappelle. At this time, Madam Secretary, would you record the vote?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Thank you, council. It was approved unanimously. Our second item on the agenda will be our August financial report, which will be given by Ms. McHale Reeves at this time. I'm sorry, I skipped a page here. The next item, number 2, is to consider the approval to cancel the October 5th, 2021 regular meeting of the City Council. Normally, at this time, the council will be going to a Texas Municipal League. We have a convention. I think this year it's in Austin, and we'll be gone on that particular night, the 5th through the 8th or 9th, I believe, in Darlene. So we won't be present that night. So that's what this is concerning, is being council will be gone. So I'll entertain a motion. Any questions or comments?
I move for the approval of cancellation of October 5th, 2002 regular scheduled council meeting.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Councilmember Walker, second by Councilmember Chappelle, to cancel the meeting on October 5th. Madam Secretary, will you record the vote, please?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you, council. It was approved unanimously. That meeting will be canceled. Our next meeting will be on the third Tuesday of October. Now to item 3. I'm sorry, McHale, make you get up again. She will present our August financial report.
Thank you, council. As looking at our August financials, we're right on target with where we were expected to be. We're about 91% revenue collected and about 91% expended in both general fund and in utility fund. Our sales tax, we're about 5.5% above the amended budget, which is really good. That means that we're still above target, and we're about 11.79% above prior years actual. So again, we're doing very well above target. So we did bring some money. We did an amended budget and brought some money in mid-year to do some things, so we're still very much on target. Property tax, we've collected about 98.5% of our property taxes, which is really about where we expect to collect every year. We never collect 100% of our taxes, and we normally collect about 98.5%, so that's about right where we expected to collect. Fines and fees, we're doing really well, back on target with that. We're about just a little under 4% of prior year, but we have collected the last 2 months, we're about 24% of budget and about 53% above where we've collected last year, and we've really Gone over there and done some things in fines and fees to try and turn some of that collection around, and I think we're going to be really on target to probably in the year maybe about 4% down above, maybe even on target with where we were last year. So I'm pretty glad with what we're doing over there. Water sales, we're up about 5% above budget. Of course, y'all know the last 2 months have been really hot outside. People are starting to water their grass, fill their pools, and so that's starting to bring us back up to about where we want to be with our water revenue. And then same thing with our sewer revenue. We're about 6.7%, which is about where we've been all year. So we're doing pretty good in that respect as well. Solid waste, we're about 1.15%. Again, that's about where we expected that to be about this time of year. So those are our top major revenue sources, and what generates the majority of the money for the city. Is there any other questions or any other revenue sources I can go over for y'all?
Can you elaborate just a little bit on fines and fees for me? When you say we're collected more, are we talking about we're collecting more of the fines that are issuing? Are we issuing more fines and fees? I hope it's the previous and not the latter.
So we had about $3 million of fines and fees that were outstanding over the past 6 years. So I've met with our direct collection agency, and we've began to resolve some of those fines and fees. We've turned over those to the collection agency, tried to work on payment arrangements with people, talked with the new judge, and basically have started going and working on some of those old fines that we've had that have been 2 to 3 years old, and trying to work on that $3 million outstanding debt that we've had. And we've very successfully have started collecting some of those older debts that have out there. We haven't issued that many new tickets. It's just mostly me and the judge and the court staff over there, especially working on. We've also implemented a new cash receipt system over there, put them on the STW cash receipt system, and worked on putting in some cash internal controls over there, just to make it easier for them to collect. They've also started taking credit cards over there in the court, just bringing them in to where they can take credit cards, and just allowing more types of payments for them over there, and just working with them to be able to improve the overall collection effort.
I'm going to refer to this, the new fines, as Councilman Adams said, the new fines, we are collecting a lot more of those in a timely manner now with all the new implementation that you put in place and with the judge and everybody through the municipal court.
Yes, just and really trying to allow people another opportunity and another way to pay their fines. You know, just like I said, with the new cash receipt system, implementing that over there with STW. Now they can take credit cards over the counter, and just a lot of the things that they weren't able to do before, and now they're just able to do now, and just makes it easier instead of using an old antiquated system. We're working on now getting ready to fully integrate court in with STW and upgrade them to the STW court system. So that's hopefully one of the things that we'll be able to do with the CARES grant money, which y'all have already approved, is to upgrade court and finance into one integrated system. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's just going to improve the efficiency over at court. It's going to improve the efficiency in finance and just allow us to do a lot more good things over there with the court.
So, Mikhail, are we now collecting from all the hotel motels?
Yes, we are. If you'll look at our hotel motel taxes, you'll see that we're up in that area as well. We're up about 7.45% this year in hotel motel tax, and that's just because we are collecting all those revenues. I think Avenue's been a big help. We are getting ready to audit our next 4 hotels. We're pursuing those every year. Want to try to do at least 4 hotels, and then every 4 years we'll repeat, and that'll get all 12 of our hotels audited every 4 years, and that'll get them on a rotation basis. And it's not for us to try and, nitpick and everything. It's just mostly to make sure that they understand the correct way, and, they'll go out and train them. And the automated system and allowing them to pay online now, I think a lot of the hotels have really told me, a lot of hotel owners have said it's just made it so much easier for them, because some of the hotel owners are out of town and they can just go online and make their payment now, instead of having to bring their payment up here to City Hall or mail their payment and worry about it being late or whatever. So just having the online system, and again, another way for them to pay, has just made it a lot easier for them as well.
And for the hotels that were previously behind, have they caught up to be current now?
We're still working with one hotel right now to get them caught up. So it's just a slow process, but they are aware, they are working with us, and we're trying to get them caught up. So.
Okay, any other questions, concerns? Go ahead, Councilman.
I was looking at the City of Mount Pleasant, the building permits page, and do you happen to know why last year in September there was such a spike?
That was the one that we got from the school when they started their building, that renovation of the high school, and we ended up contracting that out, and we basically charged them the cost of contracting that out to do all that building inspection. So we did have a one-time building inspection for the school.
Any other questions, comments, concerns for the council? If not, thank you very much, Mikhail, for this August report on the financials. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda will be to consider the approval of a pay request from MS Custom Welding for work that on the Archway at the new sports complex. And we'll welcome Lanny Buck, our engineer with KSA, to make this presentation. Welcome, Lanny.
Thank you, Council. Pleasure to be here. What you have before you is the invoice from MS Custom Welding, as you said, for the letters on the Archway, and it's for $3,250. And we've reviewed the work and believe it's acceptable.
Okay, we tabled last time because we had had some question, but I think we've clarified that a little bit. It is, the lettering is exactly the same as the archways on the walkways, correct?
Yes, sir, and they're mounted the same way as well.
Lanny, did you also have time yet to find out for this main entrance archway about getting the letters backlit or lit up for nighttime purposes?
I have not investigated that yet, but we will. That's on our list of things to do.
Maybe even some solar lighting or something up there that could shine down it. That'd be relatively inexpensive.
And that's a possibility. There is intermittent lighting out there that lights up when the rest of the lights come on for the signage, and that is at the base of the archway. There's actually a box there at the base of the archway.
One idea too might be, Lanny, that they have now these thin LED strip lights that you could put behind the actual letters and that adhere to the back side of the letters, that could be tied to the power or to a solar battery backup system that would light it up at night.
Sure, like I said, we just haven't investigated it yet.
Okay, any other questions, comments, concerns? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion, approve pay request for MS Custom Welding for work on the archway at the new sports complex.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion made by Councilmember Chappelle, second by Councilmember Adams, to approve this pay request from MS for construction for the 3250, I believe. At this time, Madam Secretary, would you record the vote, please?
Aye.
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 Thank you, council. That was approved unanimously. We'll move on to item number 5 on our agenda this evening. This is to consider approval of a pay request from GM Roberts Incorporated, doing business as Corrosion Eliminators. And we'll welcome Ms. Brittany with KSA to make a presentation concerning this payment.
Good evening, council. You have been provided with the pay request. This will be estimate number 9. And the amount payable to the contractor, this estimate is $160,389.90. Are there any questions?
I've got a question. I'm looking at the contract time, complete time percentage, and the completion percentage. We're at 56% complete. We're showing an 111% on the time to completion. Original contract was 300. I believe they might have got a 90-day, and so 90-day extension a few weeks back, or back up maybe 6 weeks ago maybe. And so mid-October was somewhere close to what we were looking at. So I don't see that in reality as I drive by. So can you explain that to me, and what's the contractor's thought process? Where does he think he's going to finish at? What do we have in our tool chest to expedite his finishing that?
I received an updated schedule from them this morning that shows November for end of construction.
November what date?
16th for demobilization.
Who's on the job on that here for us on a daily basis? Is that Anthony? Is that who's our contact right here locally that handles that?
Anthony is my contact with the city.
Anthony, could you come up here just a second?
Yes, sir.
Not that I don't think Brittany can answer this question, but I want to hear it from you. You're here every day and you're looking at the project. Does that project look like it could be finished by mid-November?
No, sir, not what I'm looking at.
Okay.
On this pay request, Brittany, for $160,389.90, with that included, what percentage of payment will have been made to this GM Roberts company?
We would be 56% complete on payment. That's listed on the top right.
Okay, and they are what percent are they? Do you think that they're completed right now? Would you say? You think they are 56? They're half completed. They've been working on this project for how long?
Notice to proceed was October 16th of 2020.
Okay, so that's nearly a year, 11 months now, and they're going to complete the other nearly half of this. They're thinking within less than 2 months now.
That's what the latest schedule shows, November.
Are they still having a lot of health problems?
I think so.
What would you contribute this, or what are they contributing, I guess, and of course it's coming through you for them to be so far behind on this project?
Well, in this pay request, they finished the rafters and the riser, and that was some of the change orders on the project.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you here. I mean, I understand we're paying today for the 56% completion, and we understand that you're saying that we're 56% complete. My concern is we've backed this up. Obviously, we're not going to finish when we're supposed to. I want to make sure that the contractor has been advised of the penalties that are in place. I want to make sure he understands that we will implement those fines if if he needs to pull extra crews from some other job, then that's what he needs to do. I get complaints constantly because we've pulled Verizon and all the rest of them down. We've got elderly people that are using those to report their blood pressure and oxygen and all that. I've heard that from some other council members tonight. I get complaints constantly on the deal, and so I want the contractor notified. I want a written out statement of how he intends to finish by November 16th, and if he's not through by November 16th, I want to make sure he understands that there will be some implementation of the penalties.
So, to Councilman Adams' point, I honestly don't think they can meet this November 16th deadline either, even if they bring their top crews in to help them. And to his point about the cell coverage, that's a very serious topic there because it affects coverage, 911, the healthcare providers that have instructed these patients to call in, like you said, their O2 stats, their blood pressures, et cetera. And if we wait that long, that's just not good practice for us. This was supposed to have been done on August 12th of 2021, and here we are, September the 21st, and it's not done. And I hear excuse after excuse after excuse, and I'm tired of them. And we have got to get that rectified so we can get our cellular service back to par for both Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Sprint, so our customers will stop complaining and get back the service they need. If that requires this contractor paying the extra money to get what they call CALs in here, cell on wheels, to get the antennas back up to the 180-foot height, that's what we need to do. We can't afford to wait till November to get those antennas back up. So we need to have further discussions beyond this meeting with this contractor to see what they're going to do to rectify that problem.
Understood.
Thank you, Anthony. Any other comments, concerns, questions? Thank you, Brittany. Appreciate it. Okay, if not, at this time, I'll entertain a motion concerning the approval of this pay request for the $160,389.90.
I'll move the pay request for GM Roberts, DBA Corrosion Eliminator.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilmember Adams and a second by Councilwoman Sproul. Madam Secretary, would you record the vote, please?
Aye.
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 Thank you, council. This passed unanimously for the pay order request for the $160,000. We'll move on to item number 6 on our agenda this evening. This is to consider an award of a bid for what we refer to as a Big Tex lift station. And welcome Mr. Buck back. I'm sorry, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, you sure can. I'll let Mr. Buck go ahead with his presentation, and I'll be happy to.
We took sealed bids for the Big Tex lift station on September 7th, 2021. We received 2 bids for the project. The low bidder was Utilhoven Oilfield System Services at $399,868. And the next bidder was 7H Construction at $401,565. We're not as familiar with Utilhoven as we are with 7H. We did call and check references. We did not find anything that brought an alarm up to us concerning Utilhoven. But there are, anyway, at this time, I believe that a representative of 7H wants to visit with the council concerning.
Okay, at this time, I'll please ask you to state come on up front. There'll be a little center button there you can push when you talk if you like. And I'll let you tell us who you are and the company you're representing, and welcome.
I'm Camille Ross, and this is Shay McPherson, and we are with 7H Construction. And I just wanted to introduce ourselves. We are a local firm in Tyler, out of Tyler. for 15 years. And the reason I'm here is the difference in these bids. I don't know if you have those there. Is less than $1,700. And we have a track record with y'all. We have a very good relationship with KSA and their engineers, and a very good relationship with Anthony. We've worked with him. This is a lift station project, and we've done, I believe, just 2 lift stations for Mount Pleasant, but we've done other jobs.
Did you do the lift station that's being replaced here at Big Tex now?
No, we did not do that one. So,
We've done the Silver Creek lift station, and then what was the
Leftwich. Leftwich is the older. And then we've done other jobs too. Arizona Street Sewer and Silver Creek was a lift station. But anyway, we're here. We have the experience. We know the city, and like I said, we work well with Anthony and KSA. We've done numerous jobs with KSA, and I hope that y'all could give us some consideration. It's a small difference in the two bids. So, do y'all have any questions?
Have you had a chance to review the other bid to make sure that y'all compared apples to apples as far as quality of product, etc.?
And when you say product, the major product here would be the pumps, and the engineer has, how do I say, designated that we use a certain pump, and we have procured a bid on that. It's called Flight Pumps. I don't know if the other bidder has done that. Right, we don't have access to who they've used. Also, another plus, JW Electric, James White Electric, I think has probably worked for the city many times, and we've worked with them many times on lift stations and other projects.
Are the warranties the same on all the items as far as you know?
It would be the manufacturer's warranty. And then, now that's with the pump and all that. With the contractor, of course, you've got a 1-year maintenance bond. So.
And Anthony, are those comparable to you, or whomever, KSA? Are those warranties and things and service agreements apples for apples? Because this is such a close fit.
Hey, hold on just a second. I think we can solve this without everybody getting wound. So on the back of this page, if y'all flipped over, there's a vendor compliance law that says that the out-of-state bidder has to be 5% lower than the resident bidder by state law, and that's obviously not 5%. Carrie, could you tell me what we just discussed?
That's what I was just fixing to bring up when you got through with the presentation here. But no, you're fine. And I'll just kind of read here real quick. There's a vendor compliance to state law, just for the audience and the people online here. And there's a 1985 session of the Texas State Legislature which passed House Bill 620 that was concerning these, and I'm just paraphrasing here, concerning these awards of contracts to non-resident bidders, okay? And I understand that this firm is based out of Anchorage, Alaska. They do have I'm going to call it a pilot operation, or they do have a facility in around the Houston area, I believe. But by law, they have to do this vendor compliance, and they did. And this is for the public. Well, I want you to know the same thing we're seeing here, that they did do number A, which is a non-resident vendors in Alaska, our principal place of business, and they understand they're required to be 5% lower than a resident bidder by state law. And anyway, Kerry, can you add some? Or?
Yeah, I really need to. This is Lanny. Lanny's done what he can do, and Brittany. This is really more of a legal question, and I don't usually put it in that terms. But That's really what this is. And what I would, and this is a legal recommendation to me, because there's about 4 statutes in play. You've got a reciprocity statute that you're talking about. That's been on the books for a while, okay? We got about 3 statutes in the local government code that say this, and say, you know, if you don't give the lower, you know, the lowest bid or whatever, give the other an opportunity to be heard. So what I'd like to make to you is a legal recommendation, and I talked to Lanny, and he's taken it, they've taken it as far as they can on this. I would suggest to you and recommend to you that we have done our homework the last week, or I started looking at it last Thursday afternoon. We've done our homework based on what we have. We believe that you're a non-resident bidder, but you're not the lowest. I mean, you're the lowest bidder, so we're going to give you an opportunity to be heard. Come to this council and say, okay, if this is not right or whatever, but the evidence tends to lead to, and our recommendation is to rely on the non-resident bidder status. But if you have something you need to bring a representative and plead your case to the council, and then you make that award, and we'll take it that night. And if he has anything else, I want to hear it. I don't know if there will be. We've had issues in the past with low bids. This is a different one, but I'm not going to run afoul of any of these issues. And I think these people would appreciate the same courtesy if they were in the same boat, and that will clear up a lot of issues. If there's another issue out there, I need to hear it. I don't expect there to be, but that'll give you a chance to make the final decision. But we'll give them notice. Lanny and I'll write and make sure that they get notice. They'll have an opportunity to be heard. You'll award the bid, and that's it.
Go ahead, Lanny, come on.
I put words in Kerry's mouth, but I'm assuming he's considering tabling the motion tonight. Just wanted to let you know that the bids are required to be held for 60 days. The bids were taken September the 7th, so the 60 days would be within the October the 19th next council meeting, just so you'll know that that's there.
Okay. Thank you, Lanny. Do what you're.
I was figuring on the 7th. I was looking at the 7th, and I was hoping you were going to say 60 rather than 30, but canceling the meeting till.
So our next meeting there in October, we won't have a meeting on October the 5th, but it'll still fall in fine for us to have it on the last meeting.
If I can do the math in my head, I would say it'd be November before, first part of November before, they have to hold their bids that long.
Okay. We appreciate y'all being here tonight, and appreciate your comments. Yeah. And at this time, if there's no other questions or comments, I'm going to entertain a motion here, or the will of the council concerning this.
I move that we table this agenda item for further information, please.
I'll second that.
I have a motion made by Councilmember Walker, second by Councilmember Chappelle, for us to cancel this until our next meeting, which will be in the third Tuesday night in October. Madam Secretary, would you record the vote, please?
Aye.
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 Thank you, council. That was approved unanimously, so it will be entertained, and we'll give the other bidder time to come.
Thank y'all for
Thank y'all for being here tonight and your presentation. Thank you, Lanny, also. Okay, move on to the next item, which is item number 7 on our agenda, which is to consider the approval of Resolution 21-29, and all we're doing tonight, council, is nominating board members to the Titus County Appraisal District. We're called upon to do this every 2 years. Our last time was in 19, I believe, for the 2021 years. This will be from 22 to 23, I believe, isn't it, Darlene? And the ones that are on the board, as you see, just for the public, is right now on the board director of the Titus County Appraisal District is Hewlin Mike Reynolds is the chairman, David Grouder, secretary, Buddy Blue, Mike Edwards, and Steve Martin are the ones that are on there now. And so what we need to do is just a resolution nominating, if we want to nominate the same ones, or if you have some other nominees that you'd like to place forward. And then this will come up for a vote. I think it's normally in December is when it will come back to us for us to vote. the city has, if I recall, 432 votes, I believe, is what we have, which is a small amount, versus the school districts are the ones that have the majority say in the election of these, board members. So with that, do we have any questions or comments or concerns?
Is this our only opportunity to make recommendations, or is there still time before the December 31st?
Darlene, you can probably speak to this, but I believe tonight we need to have this done here by a certain date. And in fact, I believe the names of the nominees, the chief appraiser, Shirley Dickerson, is asking it to be done by October 15th. So tonight, without calling a special meeting or something, it would really need to be done tonight, because our next meeting in October would be past that date. So answer your question, I think it needs to be done tonight. So I'll entertain the will of the council as far as any new board members. Would you like to remain with these? What's the will of the council?
You know, one thing I have to say about this, I just wish as a council we had more time to do this, because we get put in situations like this all the time where we're at last minute or the 11th hour to make decisions, and I don't like that. I'd rather us have more time to be able to come up with our own list of names to nominate than be sit here and basically kind of be forced into deciding tonight. We either nominate the names that are here on this piece of paper, or we don't. Because right now I haven't had time to go out and to talk to anybody to see if they're interested in maybe wanting to serve on this board. And I think it would serve the community well if we had more advance notice going forward for future nominations, to give us as a council time to select new nominations.
I hear your concern, understand that. Also, I'll just say, you know, really the ones that we nominate, we have very little bearing on whether they will be nominated, because we have such little amount of the vote. Okay, with our 432 votes, I believe, we have very little say. I mean, we could change all 5 of these. I think I may be right on this, Darlene and Carrie. We could change all 5 of these, and probably on the names that we give, but that's not that don't really have a bearing on who the nominees will be. I mean, we play a small part in this. If I'm Carrie, wouldn't you?
That's that's true. There's one other taxing entity that's the big gorilla in the room, so you wouldn't sway the election either way.
I understand what you're saying, Councilman.
I guess my concern too is, with that said, then why is it even brought before the council? If we have basically no say in it, why are we even wasting our time to do this right here? What is the protocol or the purpose of this? Even if our vote counts, there's not enough votes here to count. That's why I'm saying, if we even throw another name out that's different than what's provided here, what is the purpose of it? Because it's not going to go anywhere.
Well, that's true, but I mean, and we can always do that, but we're just a minority, is the best way to put it in this voting process of the appraisal district. And Councilwoman Sproul may elaborate a little more. You served on the board at one time, I think, didn't you?
No, I served on the review board, but I will say, in their defense, we normally would have another council meeting, but we're canceling it.
Normally speaking, you know, they give us 2 meetings here to have that we could table it tonight, and we can table it if that's the will of the council, and have a special meeting called for this if that's what the council would like. I'm sure happy with doing that if that's what council wants to do. Or we can add some names tonight if someone has, and not saying that other people, other entities may not be thinking the same thing to put another name forward. They may be, they may like that name and like that person, I'm saying, and think it'd be it's time to change 1 or 2. So that's sure a possibility, Councilman. So with that being said, do we have, I'll entertain a motion to add to, take from, to not have any participation in it. What's the will of the council?
I move for the approval of resolution 2021-29, nominating the board members of the Titus County Appraisal District to remain the same that are listed.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Walker, second by Councilwoman Sproul, to approve the resolution 2021 nominating the board members that as presented. At this time, Madam Secretary, would you record the vote, please?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Thank you, council. We have 3 for and 1 against. So with that, it passed. We will move on at this time to item number 8, which will be public comment. At this time, if anyone from the audience or even online, I'll get to that in just a second, has anything to ask or concerns, please come forward, state your name, and we'll be happy to hear your comments this evening. If not, I'd like to recognize Rex Allen. He's here tonight with a good group of students from his government class at NTCC. And Rex does this on a pretty regular basis each semester, so we appreciate y'all's participation tonight. We hope you've learned a little bit about your governments. This is your government, and so maybe it brings to light a little bit about what Mr. Allen teaches you and tells you in your class. And again, thank you for being here tonight, and thank you, Rex, for asking them to come. Also, I'll just mention real quick, I had the privilege this afternoon. I went out and looked at the new on the work being done on the bridge there at the City Lake, and looked like a lot of work has been done here in the last few weeks. In fact, Mr. Allen took me out there for that. So boy, he's getting a lot of feathers tonight. And but it looks like we're just waiting on, Landy, you might speak to that real quick. It looks to me like they're just waiting on maybe just the bridge, the components to come in and just set the bridge. Looks like everything's about ready.
Yes, sir, that's correct. We're just waiting on the bridge components, and it's waffling on when they'll show up with what we've got going on right now, but it should be here in the next couple of months.
Well, they've done a lot of work it's been 2 or 3 weeks since I was out there, 3 or 4.
And you got all the confirmation, everything from the historical committees and everything? We're good with all that?
We do.
Do we have an expected date on that? I haven't. I've talked to the Howard brothers a number of times, but I think this is one of those deals that I'm sure everything else that they have done work-wise on that project has been well above what our expectations are. I think they just kind of got pinned down by the builder of the bridge. But I will say this: I think as we go forward, as we review projects, and you see us question about projects and contractors, the Howard brothers are an example of who we want to hire. They're an example of people that'll get the job done. If they have a problem, they'll let you know that they're having a problem. It's all above board. I see them 2 or 3 times a week. There's no, hide and go seek with them. And so those are the people we need to try to do business with.
I'll agree with Councilman Adams. They've done a lot of projects for the city on roads, Northwest 12. We did that a number of years ago while I've been on the council. A lot of projects, and they've always been very timely. And I think we all was excited when they received the bid to do this project, being they was local, and we knew they was. Most everyone has their cell phone number too, so that's. But anyway, I agree with Councilman Adams completely on that. Anyone else comments, concerns?
Yes, I'd like to tag onto that too. Back to the issue about the bid on the water tower restoration. This is why it is important, unfortunately, for us to impose the penalties, because a lot of times we get these low bids, and they get the job, but they're not able to perform. And it's not necessarily that we want to hurt anybody, but it's important. And then the Howard brothers came in with a much lower bid on this project, and they have been ahead of time, I think, a little on their estimates. And so I understand they had good weather and all that, but I mean, that's why it's important. And I know people think, man, don't penalize them, but these low bids are not always the best bids, even though we do have to consider the taxpayers' money. There's more involved than just the bottom line of the price. With that said, too, also, I'd like to say that I've had 2 or 3 comments from people that have already been enjoying our new park. And the kickoff to that was pretty nice. I thought the staff did a great job getting that ready for people to enjoy that opening on that, and all the families that participated, we were able to recognize them. And I hope it brings a lot of good times for the city and the citizens and the folks that get to enjoy that park. And also, if y'all don't mind, when Henry brought up a good point about these nominations, if y'all could y'all give us a future list in the next year of when these appointment times come up, so we can visit with people a little ahead of time? Because I've had a few people that have said to me, I would serve on a board, but we don't seem to be able to quite know enough ahead of time to get with them. So if you guys could give us an estimated timeline of these different appointments, it would be helpful to me, and I think everybody.
Okay, thank you. I'll echo what you said also on the new park. I thought it went, the new soccer sports complex with the soccer fields and all. I've been out there 2 or 3 times the last week, and there's been it's unbelievable how many people are out there. I was out there Sunday afternoon, just drove through it, and people was at the pavilions. We're having it looked like a birthday party, and, you know, the splash pad was being used, people walking on the trail. So hopefully our citizens are enjoying it. That's what we hope, and I think the city staff did a good job putting it all together, and I thank you, Ricky, and the rest of the staff for bringing this to us. Any other comments or anything online?
Are y'all gonna just put soccer goals out there? Or is there gonna be basketball goals and, I mean, anything else, or is it just gonna be strictly soccer and kind of like the water?
That's a good question. To start out with, this was the project, and hopefully I can foresee in the future baseball, hopefully softball. You know, that's in there. Go ahead.
There's a massive, master plan that's put together, and in the future, there's more acreage or land up there to develop baseball, softball fields, and probably a football field for Little League that can also be striped as a soccer field too, as an alternate soccer field, and again, additional parking, etc. We'll have to look into the basketball court thing. I don't remember if I saw that exactly on the master plan, but there's plenty of acreage out there, I think, to probably accommodate a court or two.
So hopefully, that's a good question. Hopefully in the future, it will be just what is called Mount Pleasant Sports Complex with baseball, the whole sports festivities out there is what we hope. We've got the land to do it on, and well, thanks for your question. Okay, if not, that we won't have really. The council has the city manager's report here. City manager is out of town on vacation this week, so we've seen the airport, the animal control, civic center. Does anyone council have any questions or anything that we could that I might can answer? The public comment, yeah, we'll close the public comment session. And if anyone has any questions on the city manager report. Okay, if not, at this time, we'll go into executive session pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551, Texas Government Code. The City Council will recess into executive session, which is a closed meeting, to discuss the following: real property, discuss purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. Texas Government Code 551.072. So at this time, we will recess into executive session, and we will return. Thank y'all for being here again. I'll call this meeting back to order. It's about 4 minutes after 8, and we're coming out of executive session into our meeting, and there was no action taken. So at this time, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and second. Thank you, council.